In this video, we're going to construct a perpendicular bisector. Remember that a bisector cuts something in half, so when I bisect the segment JK, I am going to be creating a midpoint on the segment. When I create a perpendicular bisector, I'm creating a line that is going to intersect segment JK at 90 degrees. So two things come from this construction. One is a midpoint, and two is a 90-degree angle, which will be useful in the future. Our first step for constructing a perpendicular bisector is to open the compass more than half of the distance of the segment. So I'm going to start by putting my compass point on K and opening my compass more than halfway. So I'm going to extend it a little bit further just to make sure that it's more than halfway. Now I'm going to draw an arc that extends below and above the segment. Okay. Now the next part is really important. I want to keep the compass setting the same, turn it around, put the compass point on J, and draw the same arc from the perspective of J. So what I've done is I've created two important points where the two arcs intersect. Each of these points is equidistant from the end points of the segment. So we can see here that the point above and below are both equidistant. Now, in our investigation in this lesson, we learned that if a point is on the perpendicular bisector, it is equidistant from the end points of the segment. So now that we have 2 points that are both equidistant to the end points, we can conclude that it will be on the perpendicular bisector. So I'm going to go ahead and line up those 2 points and draw a line through them. So here is the line MN. So I'm going to label one point M, the other point N, and I'm going to make sure I put arrows to indicate that it is a line just like the direction says. Make sure that we're following directions. If it said to construct a segment, you do not want to have those arrows, so we just want to be careful about the directions. All right. So like I said, this construction is helpful, right, when we want to construct other parts. For instance, if I would like a midpoint, I can use the construction for a perpendicular bisector to find that point. So one of the vocabulary words in this section is a median. A median connects a midpoint to the opposite vertex in a triangle. So if I wanted to construct a median, I would first locate the midpoint by doing the perpendicular bisector construction. So I'm going to put my compass point on one vertex, open it more than halfway, draw my arc, keep the same compass setting, turn it around, draw the other arc. Then I would take my straight edge and line up the 2 points of intersection between the arcs. Now all I need here is the midpoint. So I'm just going to make a little mark on the side of the triangle where the midpoint is. Now the median connects the midpoint to the opposite vertex of the triangle. So I'm going to line up the midpoint and the opposite vertex. And here we have the construction of a median. Now there are 3 medians in a triangle. So if I wanted to create the next median, I would find the midpoint of one side and connect to its opposite vertex. The third median, I would find the midpoint of the last side and connect to its opposite vertex.